I'll have my cookbook too.
Frank Dello Stritto talking about movies.
Hey, Frank, a little champagne's in order.
We'll keep in touch. We'll do something.
We got your Vampire Over London book on the...
I gave you 2 cards.
Yes, no, definitely.
Okay. We got Frank Dello Stritto on the air. We got your Vampire Over London book in front of us.
All right. Who's us?
Lisa Kavanaugh, my co-host, and Frank Imbergamo. They're both SAG actors.
All right.
Our
Nice
actress.
to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Well, you met him last week.
That's right. I'm a huge fan of Bela Lugosi.
All right. Well,
And you know who her actor, her coach, her acting
One of my
coach,
coaches at the Actors Studio.
she had Shelley Winters
I'm Martin Landau.
and Martin Landau.
Martin Landau. So was it, I guess this would have been after Landau played Lugosi in the 1990s.
It was before and during.
Oh, during. Okay. Did he?
And after.
Oh, did he say anything of note?
Of note of Bela Lugosi?
Yes.
That I can remember off the top of my head, honestly, no. He was
Well, I remember-
all about our work.
I remember he was interviewed.
Selfless man.
I remember he was interviewed, and incidentally, long before he played Bela Lugosi, he was always one of my favorite actors. It broke my heart when he left Mission Impossible because I thought he was perfect for that show. But I enjoyed his TV movies. He was kind of blackballed a bit because he didn't like the way Mission Impossible was going, and the producers didn't like him not liking it, so they gave him a rough time. But I always remember him on television. And one of my favorite episodes of Twilight Zone is him in the Jeopardy room, which is a real cat and mouse game between a spy and a counter spy.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, he's a great actor. I envy you for knowing him.
Oh.
Anyway, when he was playing Lugosi, I always remember him saying in an interview, he goes, I did not until I watched all his movies did I know how good he was. He gave credence to this crap. So a nice thing to say about a guy who was cursed to appear in a lot of bad movies.
Yes.
That's great.
And Frank, should I have seen you in anything?
Yeah, I've been in several movies recently, and all the way down from The Fighter, The Town. I just did a movie with Denzel called The Equalizer.
The Equalizer TV show is now a movie.
We just filmed in Boston, The American Hustle, with Bradley Cooper.
I love your accent, and I'm not surprised when I hear that accent. I'm not surprised to hear you were in The Town. That Town, I thought was a great movie. I love that.
Yeah, that was a great part. That was great. And I've been on TV with Emerald on a cooking contest. I won. I was on the Food Network with Emerald. I wrote a cookbook, and I do the movies. I do a lot of different stuff, commercials and TV, things like that.
All right. Well, I wish you well in your career. What part did you play in the Town?
In The Town, I played a cop. Police officer,
okay.
yeah.
Well, there were plenty of them in that movie.
And I played a prison guard in The Fighter.
And R.I.P.D. he's in.
And R.I.P.D. I was just did that with Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds. I played a 1970s police officer.
Right. Well,
We had different
I'm honored to talk to you both.
Yeah, so you can check that out. And I congratulate you on your book. It's excellent.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
I'm going to get a copy tomorrow.
Myself,
The thing
too.
about that book is that it's if you took a famous person and realized that every biography that has ever been written about them overlooked 1 year, and you didn't know why, and so we filled in the gap with that. So the neat thing about that book is about 90% of it was new information when it came out.
That's
Wow,
great.
People that had never spoken about Lugosi that knew him well,
Fantastic. Wow.
and things that he had done that were just forgotten by time, and we stumbled on it, and it started off as a magazine article, but we kept finding so much that it became a book.
You know what? This October for Halloween, maybe we'll have Frank come back. We'll all interview you on the book for Halloween.
All right, but then you have to read it.
That'd be
That's a
great.
good idea, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll dress up as different characters from his movies.
Well, I can wear the cape. But
That'd be great.
we've got 3 minutes for champagne.
Okay, Champagne. It's a late silent movie, 1928. Silents are dying, and this is one of Hitchcock's last silent movies. It's one of his, or maybe his first comedy. It's kind of a pre-Depression era depression comedy. I mean by that, Depression hasn't hit yet. Depression starts with the Wall Street crash of 1929. But this is about a rich girl who loses all her money and has to try to make it in the working world. Again, I said it was Hitchcock's first comedy. He's already got a reputation building for more serious dramas, and he's just getting into the mysteries. with things like the Lodger, which you showed a while back, and Blackmail, which is almost his next film after this, which you showed last week. And so it doesn't do too well. I mean, the fans that he has, his name is already getting known in Britain. The fans that he has weren't expecting this. So one thing you don't want to do is catch your fans a little too off guard. There is no Hitchcock cameo in this. I know your listeners love to know where to look for Hitchcock, so you can just sit back and relax. You saw him last week. If you watched Blackmail, you'll see him next week, because next week's movie is 39 Steps, but he's not in this movie. And when I say this is a late silent movie, all you have to do is look at the cast, because these are busy actors in the silent world, and pretty soon they'll be out of business. The leading lady, the biggest part in the film, the leading lady is Betty Balfour, who was known as the English Mary Pickford. She was considered quite a comedian. She is arguably the best-known British actress in British movies, best known outside of Britain.
Wow.
Quite the star, and she doesn't realize it, but when sound comes in about a year or two, her film output is going to slow to a trickle, and she'll be out of the business within a decade. And a little almost tragedy, she'll try a comeback in 1952. It'll go disastrously for her, and she will attempt suicide. The two leading men in the movie, a Frenchman, Jean Bradin, and a Russian, Ferdinand Van Olten. People weren't stopped by language barriers in those days because the movie was silent. And when I didn't know these two actors, and I looked up their careers, and all through the 1920s, they're bouncing back between movies that have titles that are obviously English, obviously French, and obviously German. They went between those three countries pretty much as the work came up and did it. And
10 seconds.
Okay, well, anyway, they didn't come to sad ends, but they were soon out of the business too. And anyway, that's all I can do in a few seconds. I'll talk to you next week about the 39 Steps.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
Two Franks and a Lisa and a Joe. That's our show. Views and opinions are ours, not yours. But tune in next week. It's 39 Steps and lots of fun.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.